Good morning. My name is Dan Suttles, Chairman of the Brookfield Township Board of Trustees. Along with Trustees Ron Hahn and Gary Lees, I'd like to welcome you to our 2020 Memorial Day ceremony. We started planning for our ceremony last year on Memorial Day, when Mr. and Mrs. Bill Sawtelle approached me and offered their son, Jonathan, as a speaker for this year's event, which he agreed to. Earlier this month, I reluctantly had to make a call to Colonel Sawtelle, who lives in Alabama, and inform him we were not having our ceremony due to the COVID-19 crisis and the limit on mass gatherings. He enthusiastically encouraged us to do a virtual program. He said, "I'm going to put my uniform on, tape my speech, and send it to you." So we reached out to several people in our community, to include Toby Gibson, Superintendent of Brookfield Local Schools, Jean McKenzie from the Brookfield Rotary, Rayella Baker, President of the Brookfield Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary, Pastor Dick Smith from the Brookfield United Methodist Church, our department heads, Dan Faustino, Police Chief, Fire Chief Dave Masurovitz, Jamie Friedenberg, our Road Superintendent, and Bob Vea from MVP Productions, who helped us put this all together and make it happen. And I'd like to thank those individuals for their help. And a special thank you goes out to Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Sawtelle, United States Air Force, who helped to remind us that no matter what crisis or difficulties we're facing, we should never forget to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our beloved country. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll join me reciting Pledge Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, Trustee Hahn here. Thank you for joining us for Brookfield Township's virtual Memorial Day observance service. Thomas Campbell said, "The patriot's blood is the seed of freedom's tree." I couldn't agree more. Memorial Day is set aside to remember with gratitude and pride all those who served and died for our great country and the freedoms we enjoy. Thank you to those that courageously gave their lives and to those that bravely fight today. May your day be filled with memories and peace. God bless America. I will now read the 2020 Veteran Roll Call list. Finley Beatty Jr., Army, World War II. William J. Baicho, Army, Korea. Charles W. Beerworth, Army, Korea. Frank Billack, Army, World War II. Stephen B. Brannon Sr., Navy, Vietnam. Jeffrey Brenner, Navy, Vietnam. Lawrence S. Crawford Sr., Navy, World War II. James R. Donaldson, Army, Korea. Edward D'Onofrio, Merchant Marines, Army, World War II, Korea. Leonard J. Fry, Navy. John M. Galacho, Army, World War II. Jim A. Gazzoni, Army, Vietnam. Eugene Paul Goss, Army, Vietnam. James L. Gravink, Navy, Vietnam. Kenneth R. Hudak, Marine, Vietnam. Howard J. Jones, Navy, World War II.
I want to thank you for tuning in to our Memorial Day tribute. Most of all, thanks to you, to Bobby Pia, for taking his time and talent to making this recording and for achieving it for generations to come. He is a true historian. We want to thank the different organizations that participated in this recording, and at this time I'm going to read the list of the veterans that have passed. George A. Kurilla Jr., Army, Korea. Paul T. Levicki, Marines, Korea. James W. Bill Lippman, Army. Theodore M. McBride, Army, Korea. John R. Miller, Navy. Howard Paul Miller, Army. James William Phillips, Army. Terry A. Phipps, Army. John R. Schuster, Navy. George M. Sinkus, Air Force. Gary Sweezy, Army, Vietnam. Louis M. Talrico, Army, Air Corps. Thomas J. Vollner, Army, Vietnam. Guy Joseph Van Diemen, Navy, World War II. Lloyd E. Wagner, Army, Korea. And Richard M. Warner, National Guard, Korea. I want to thank you again.
Port arms. At base, right. Ready, aim. Fire. Ready, aim. Ready, aim. Fire. At base, lift. Present, arms.
represent a few of the true American brave. They fought for their country as man has through all time, except that these soldiers lying here fought for your country and mine. As we all gather here to pay them our respect, let's pass this word to others as what they would expect. I'm sure that they would do it if it were me and you, to show that we did it, not die in vain for the red, white, and blue. Let's pass on to our children and to those who never knew what these soldiers died for. It's the least we can do. Let's not forget their families, great pain they had to bear, losing a son, father, or husband. They need to know we still care. No matter which war was fought on the day that they died, I stand here looking at these flags filled with American pride. So as the bugler plays out taps with a sweet and eerie sound, pray for these soldiers lying here in the sacred hallowed ground. Take home with you a sense of your pride. You were here Memorial Day, celebrating the ways Americans should on the solemnest of days.
Hello everybody, I'm Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Sawtelle, proud graduate of Brookfield High School, class of 1998. I want to wish you all a happy Memorial Day, especially all the young and the young at heart. I was honored to be invited by our trustees and excited to give this speech on the grounds of our town cemetery. I hope to be surrounded by reunited veterans, family, neighbors, and parade participants, but especially a warm May breeze carrying the wonderful smell of fired up grills for this afternoon's barbecues. Though I cannot meet you in person today, I still want to serve you and our town the best way I can from my current post. Regardless of our extraordinary circumstances, it is no less important this Memorial Day to reflect and remember that the price of securing and keeping our freedom is high. With a heart of gratitude, we can also focus on what service means for each of us. Whether you're from our town or any town USA, I believe we are blessed to be Americans, blessed to have our Constitution, blessed to have our way of life, and blessed to have generations of men and women choose to defend our nation 24/7, 365. Always vigilant, ever faithful. And we are blessed that our stars and stripes fly freely because of those who by land and sea, by air and space, fight for us. Our military is an all-volunteer force. So are our police, firefighters, EMTs, nurses, doctors, teachers. They have answered the call of their nation, their state, their communities. Because of the freedoms we have, the call to serve doesn't come through a phone, a text message, or an email. The call to serve doesn't come from outside at all. The call comes from in here. Perhaps no one knows this better than Gold Star families, the surviving spouses, children, and parents of fallen service members. These once ordinary families who had their own hopes and challenges suddenly experienced extraordinary pain collide with extraordinary pride. For most, it galvanized an undying love for their country and the will to keep moving forward. Even if we do not know any Gold Star families personally, I believe we have a responsibility to them. The flag that was fought and died for continues to wave because we all volunteer in the ways we can. Let our service be a comfort to the Gold Star families who know intimately the price of keeping the Star-Spangled Banner waving. I hope we can all decide to make better the little corner of the country we are blessed to live in. Whether that means choosing kindness when passing a stranger, whether that means getting to know your neighbor, whether that means making masks, cheering on our teachers, encouraging parents, cleaning up litter, whether that means starting up a scout troop, listening to the stories of our elders, investing in our talents and our children's talents, whether that means kicking a bad habit, providing for those in need, mentoring the next generation, or simply thanking a veteran. This is service. Fallen service members paid the ultimate price to protect our nation. Let us remember them, honor them, and cherish their sacrifice by serving here, by serving now, taking all we've been given and making it better. Happy Memorial Day.
Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row and row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amidst the guns blow, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to from the hailing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders fields.
It is an honor and a privilege to be here today for our brothers and sisters in the military who have given their all for our country and for us. Let us be in an attitude of prayer. Gracious God, you who created us, who sustain us, who call us to live in peace, hear our prayer this day. We remember the many brave men and women who have given their lives through the history of our country to protect us from danger and harm. We remember all those who sustained injury in mind and body in the course of their service. We salute all those who served in the military. When the need was greatest, they stepped forward and did their duty to defend the freedoms that we enjoy and to win the same for others. Hear our prayer, Lord, for all who have died, whose hearts and hopes are known to you alone. Hear our prayer for those who put the welfare of others ahead of their own, and give us hearts as generous as theirs. Hear our prayer for those who gave their lives in the service of others and accept the gift of their sacrifice. Help us to remember that freedom is not free. There are times when its cost is indeed dear. Never let us forget those who paid so terrible a price to ensure that freedom would be our legacy. Help us to shape and make a world where we will lay down the arms of war and turn our swords into plowshares, that we may all live in justice and peace. Comfort those who grieve the loss of their loved ones, and let your healing become hope in their hearts. Hear our prayer, Lord, for the fallen, the wounded, the brave and unselfish men and women who have given their all for their country and all of our freedoms, especially the freedom to worship you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.